Heroes, villains, a tale as old as time, and the never-ending battle to protect truth and justice from those who thrive on chaos and bloodshed. Come with us as we peel back the mask on your beloved Crusaders of Light and dive deep into the dark and twisted abyss of the most feared and hated harbingers of doom. Follow your host, Power Maximus, and everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, as they take a trip down the rabbit hole that is everything super. So, are you a hero or a villain? Either way, find that super suit and suit up for the Super Breakdown.
What is up? We are live. All right. Welcome to the Super Breakdown, ladies and gentlemen, all level 7s. We are here with another interview. I'm Power Maximus. We're here with Lord Triage, and we are here with the creator of a very interesting new comic coming out. I loved it. I loved it. I think it was so awesome. The art style was amazing. So please, brother, introduce yourself and let people know who you are and what you do.
All right, how you doing? My name is Aleem Leggett. I am the CEO of a small business called Alter Ego Arts and the creator of the comic book, The Diary of Sweet Pea, just, Sweet Pea for short. So, I'm an artist. I work in various mediums. I do digital, I do acrylics, I do, pen markers and watercolor, all kinds of things. And, recently my newest endeavor has been a comic book creator.
Okay, all right. So you're dabbling in everything right now.
Yeah, get busy, man.
Hey, you got to do it these days, man. You got to have. You can't be one trick pony. You got to have multiple hats, especially when you're building your own brand, building your own business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I salute your entrepreneurship.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Now, what gave you the idea for? Well, if you don't mind, give people a breakdown of, the Diary of Sweet Pea.
All right. So Sweet Pea is about it takes place in Philadelphia. We have our main character, Imani Williams. She's a 14-year-old young lady, and her father, Marcus. So it's based inside of the real world, and then there's an event that happens that causes this strange energy to pop in, and monsters start popping up and everything like that. And now father and daughter are trying to figure out a way to survive in the mix of all of that. So the purpose of the story is to show or kind of dissect what nature versus nurture kind of thing, where like the environment that this kid is growing up in versus the nurturing of her parents, and what's going to win out inside of that. It gets wild. So you got like you got this little girl that should be living this normal 14-year-old girl's life, and the book starts out like that, but then it happens fast because you've read it, and things take a turn, and now she's dealing with all these things that no kid should ever have to deal with. So throughout the series, we're going to dissect that, what happens to her, like how these events affect her, and versus the foundation that her dad lays for her.
All right. Now, what was like the process behind this? Like, what gave you this idea to, you know what, I want to make a comic book?
Yeah, well, I mean, like this is something that I've been doing for a long time, as far as like character creation, coming up with original characters. Like I said, I'm an artist just professionally recently, but I've always been an artist since childhood. So I would draw up guys, give them stories, make up fan fictions for existing characters, redraw them in the different ways and everything like that. And while I was sitting there at work on a break one day, and I drew up these two characters, and I said, I want to try to. I think that I'm finally going to go for it and make them into make this a story, right? Mm-hmm. So just happenstance, searching up, different resources on Facebook, and I started finding these groups for independent comic book creators, and it's like great communities on there, right? So if you check out I Create Comic Books or Black Comic Book Creators, that'll get you started on Facebook, and it's just full of people that's willing to help. I happened to meet a guy named Stephen Duffy from the UK. He has Apex Comics UK, so he really helped me out. He's credited inside of issue 1 as the co-writer, actually, and he helped me out with kind of like taking a peek behind the curtain and seeing like how possible it is put a team together, because even though I'm an artist, I haven't mastered sequential art, the interior pages of comic books with all the different perspectives and everything like that, and the backgrounds and all of that, to the point where I will be comfortable putting a book out. If I do something, I want to do it to a level that I can be proud of. You know what I mean? I don't want to sell a T-shirt if the T-shirt gonna be jacked up after one wash, and I don't want to sell a comic book with art that I wouldn't appreciate, or that I wouldn't want to sell. So like pinups, that's my thing. You know what I mean? That I can do pinups all day. Painting and all of that stuff is great, but just like the different facial expressions and everything, I had a team to help me out doing it and to get it done a lot faster than I could do it by myself. So, once I got all those things in place, I was able to make magic happen. And I go into, like, I know that's not really what you asked me, but I like to go into that story because I think that a lot of people have stories that they would like to tell, or that they imagine. I'm sure I'm not unique in that. And, it's possible, man. You can, even if you do it, you ain't got to put up everything all at one time. You shop around for your talent and you can get it done, 1 week at a time, $30, $40 here, $50 here, put it up. And, it'll take a while, but as long as you won't never get there if you don't ever start. So take the leap. It's a lot easier than most people might think, because we need more. And like I love to hear people's unique stories and everything like that.
I definitely resonate. That resonates with me, definitely, because that's exactly what happened here with this podcast. For years I was trying this, trying that. I always wanted to be in media. And then one day I was just like, yo, I want to start a podcast. Because I used to be in a call center. I used to answer phones all the time.
Yeah.
People would be like, you got a voice for radio. You got a radio voice.
I've heard that since I was 11 years old.
So eventually I was just like, you know what? Let's give it a try. So I started linking up with some people, started doing like a music podcast, interviewing music artists and stuff like that. Didn't go well at all, really. And I was like, I like superheroes. Let me do something in the background. So here we are, like 2 years later, almost 2 years later, and people, great artists like you are reaching out to us, like, hey, I would love to be on your platform, and so I definitely resonate with me. You just got to do it.
That's dope,
and
man.
Then roll the punches.
And I was on you guys' page earlier, man, so I know that you can relate to this too. Like, following your dreams will take you to dream places. You know what I mean? Because I see you guys like backstage talking to interviewing people and doing all kinds of dope stuff, man. So like,
Yeah,
it's been an amazing ride. Absolutely.
definitely. Now, you were out at DreamCon. How did that come about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I took a shot. I actually, after the success of the first campaign for the Diary of Sweet Pea issue 1, we ended up with 100 backers on our first round out and made about 6,000. So
Dope.
yeah, that
That's
was
really
great.
dope.
Yeah, so we went out there and I just started looking up places because now the Kickstarter is over, and that's a great platform for getting that initial outburst of content to people. But now,
Get a coaster.
I got to keep pushing. So I started looking up conventions.
Coaster.
Yeah.
I started looking up conventions, and DreamCon was one of them. They were actually full, but I said, whatever, I'm putting it in anyway. And as luck would have it, they ended up hitting me up because they had an opening, right? So I'm like, great. And then all the logistics came in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, I paid what I paid for the entry. Now I'm all the way in PA and got to go to Texas with merchandise and all this stuff. And I ain't, like that's when it got real, because that's a whole nother ball game. And I'm not really, I don't know all the tips and tricks to get down there and like have the network of people to kind of like do a group travel thing where we all share some of the burden of, the room and board and all that stuff. But I took a shot anyway, and I'm glad I did, because that has been like the highlight of my comic book career so far. I got to meet Carl Jones, the animator for the Boondocks.
That's so
cool. That's fire.
So I made that contact. That was amazing. I got to shake hands with a bunch of guys from RDC World and a lot of other influencers out there. I put my comic book in the hands of a lot of people. I met Cutie Pie Sensei. That was yeah. So like, yeah, DreamCon was a dream for real, man. I definitely will try to make it there every year. It was packed from the beginning to the end, and just like that crowd is, it's necessary as a Black, creative person. You know what I mean? To find that type of crowd that was there, because they just, they come looking for what I'm offering. You know what I mean? So DreamCon was amazing, and like all the conventions that I've been to have been great, but that one was definitely like a step above anything else I've been to so far.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some of the videos that came out of there, and I'm like, dude, we got to go there next year.
Yeah.
We got to make that a point.
Yeah.
We tried to get out to New York Comic Con this year, and unfortunately things ain't playing out on the logistics side of it. But we have a few other things planned, going on. Now, on that, like setting up for that con, and now you weren't just a guest there, you're an actual like vendor. You were there with your, with your work. How does that work?
Right. So, I mean, just again, like, it's probably better ways to do this, but the way I did it was I flew Southwest. They give you 2 bags for free. So it was me and one other person. I got 4 bags now for traveling, because like getting merchandise down there adds up.
I can imagine.
So yeah. I mean, like driving, just it was an option, but it wasn't great for me because I still got a full-time job I got to get back to after it's all over, and that's a 25-hour drive. So the flight was the way to go. So just if you gotta travel somewhere with a bunch of stuff, look for somebody that's going to give you free bag checks. And as far as I know, Southwest is the affordable, and with all of that. But to be a vendor down there is just when you filling out for the your application or buying tickets, you just got to search their site. They have vendors, they have press things, so that's something that you guys could look into, getting a press badge, because that'll get you through some more doors than the average regular on-goer or whatever. And yeah, you know, it cost what it cost. And then they had a setup before the event started where we was in there the day before. It was my first 3-day event, so I didn't know. Like, I'm like, so you telling me to set this stuff up and then leave it there and like come back the next day and it's all going to be there, right? You know, you know what I mean? So that was new. But yeah, I set my stuff up. Everybody, like all the other vendors, was cool. I got to meet a lot of people. That's another good thing about coming down to the convention as a vendor. You get to see other people that's doing the same thing that you're doing. And you get to see, you know, people that's doing things that you could do. And, you know, as far as my experience, everybody was pretty cool about, you know, networking and sharing information. They had a mixer event down there that was like super dope on the Skybox or the Skyline Hotel or something like that. It was out on the roof. And that's where I met Carl Jones there. I met Greg Burnham down there. And Marcus Williams. You probably seen his artwork online. That dude's amazing. You probably read some of Greg Burnham's books. He works for DC right now, I think, with Milestone, and he's written inside of DC's anthology for Halloween, I think, like that. So he wrote the Superman story inside of there. So yeah,
definitely
super dope guy. And I also got to meet a comic book legend too, going to conventions. My first convention, actually, I met this guy Frank Percy. He's an awesome dude, man. And he's inked stuff like Punisher, Warzone for Marvel. He's done work for DC. He's done work for Marvel. So it's just really cool. And like, you know, like I get to learn from this guy now because he's not even really that far from me. You know, as far as like living. So we became somewhat friends, and you know, it's just like I had to say, like, this all came from following just a dream and talking to people, and now it's like I feel like I'm a part of the club, you know, even though most of the times I don't.
Level 7,
you know, like I feel like I'm one of the people that were like it's just unattainable thing for me before. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
People make comic books, but not me. You know what I mean? Or people, you know, make animated series, but I don't do that. You know what I mean? And now that's the stuff that I'm doing and working on. Man. So,
you said that your material was about a father and daughter. So,
right.
How much of that is pulled from your own experience? Or like, are you a father to a daughter?
Yeah, man, I got 5 kids, man.
Woo!
My daughter is my oldest, right? So Imani is actually her middle name, and that's the name of our main character too. So, but all my kids pop up inside of the book eventually. You're gonna meet 2 more of them in issue 2. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of new characters to be introduced inside of the next issue of the book, and some more twists and revelations and things like that. There's a character named Himba that pops up in the book, which is my personal favorite. And I'm like, the plan for her is to be like, you know, like the archetypal character that just comes in, tears stuff up, and then goes away and leaves you wanting more. But you might not see them again for a couple of episodes. That like they usually become like the favorite, right? So, like, yeah, I got her popping in, and you learn more about the invaders. You get to interact with them a lot more inside of the next issue, and you know, like how they operate. You're seeing how people are responding to everything that's going down, that's went down inside of issue 1. Because like it's not just Imani's not just in a bubble, right? So she's inside of a a city, inside of the world. This is happening all over the place. So it's other people that's going through this, and like society breaks down real fast when there's dragon dogs, monsters running around in the street. You know what I mean? Planes falling out of the sky and stuff like that. So and people are responding to that. And as you see, like, it's not a superhero story, but there are people developing powers inside of the story for reasons that you have to read to find out. But you know what I mean? Like, there's you know, so like you see people's reaction to that because you know this is something that's new happening inside of the world. This isn't like everyday stuff, like, you know, like a villain of the week kind of thing. This is all happening for the first time. So it's it's a good book, man. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah.
With the villain of the week comment, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your bad guy?
The Bane, man. Okay, so I'll tell you about them. The Bane are like a race that, just some backstory unrelated to the actual book, but the Bane are characters that I came up with when I used to do tabletop gaming, like way back. You know, like Dungeons and Dragons, talking about like back in the '90s when I was rolling dice. So, but you know, there's people that I've refined now, and what they are a race of draconians that travel from dimension to dimension, harvesting this energy source to revive their god. Okay, so the energy source is called the breath of heaven. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called in their language, but it's called, they call it the breath of heaven, and it comes from this dragon called the Omni Dragon that you know existed at one time, and its death caused, you know, dimensions to shatter. It used to be one, now it's many, and that energy from that event exists across all dimensions. So the Bane travel from one dimension to the next, creating an event that materializes that energy, right? And then they harvest it, move on to the next planet, right? So they're pretty bad guys. They all about war and enslavement and stealing resources, leave a planet gutted, and then go on to the next. In preparation, they, you know, like they send scouts to prepare for, you know, to prepare the society. So it kind of plays on that lizard people thing that we got.
Okay.
That with urban legend of that, right?
Yeah.
Right. And which is all, I don't think I gave away too much with that, but you know, like they're bad dudes, man. And Himba is a race called the Rizoas, who was one of the groups that were affected by what the Bane do. Like they got done dirty, and then you know their planet was destroyed, but they had the ability to kind of follow them. But their empire is nowhere near it. There is nowhere near as big as the Bane, so they travel in like guerrilla units to try to, you know, get their lick back wherever they can.
Yeah. They sound kind of like necromongers. Like I like that whole devoted army
from Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
I like that. I like that.
Thanks, man.
So
yeah.
Now, overall, like, what was the main inspiration, you know, for, you know, the two characters, for the daughter and the father? Like, what made you say, like, you know what, these guys would be cool. This would be cool to make. Like, what brought the idea of the characters?
Well, the idea of it is I wanted to explore, like I said, the effects of a violent environment on children, and kind of like shed some light or some awareness, bring some awareness to mental health inside of inner city communities, and you know, like PTSD, the effects of those things, right? So I decided on a 14-year-old girl. I mean, well, I have a daughter, and she's dear to my heart, but also because I felt like she would be easier to helped me to create an emotional attachment with the reader, and then like have her experience all these different experiences. So that's why, like, when you look at the cover, it's called Sweet Pea, and it looks like it's torn out of a page of a diary the way that it's written and everything, because it's meant to give you this feeling of like wholesomeness in this little like just a young girl that's kind of endearing or whatever. And then you got like all this wild stuff going on around her. So like I'll hope that the reader, vibe with the fact that like it's messed up what she going through and what she like the things that she having to deal with, right? So
would you mind me throwing up the logo real quick on the screen?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I definitely want to talk about this real quick, because there's a few little things in the logo that I noticed that I think are really cool. So like
now this is the issue 2 logo. So the logo is it's kind of interactive, right? Well, not interactive. That's probably not the right word, but issue 1 logo was unblemished. Now issue 2 logo, you starting to see the damage going on. So just like imagine it's a scrap out of her diary that she has inside of her pocket, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And after like you see what she went through in issue 1, now it looks bad, but it gets worse as the story goes on. So now we hear kind of like how Invincible if you watch that show, every issue it got
more blood.
The more blood it is.
Yeah.
So now with this, I'm seeing the claw marks, I'm seeing blood splatter, and I'm seeing the edge, being burnt up here. Now, does this have, with the first logo, like you said, it was unblemished. Does this, in a way, like relate to maybe that innocence being like kind of like tarnished?
Yeah,
and pulled away.
Exactly. We experiencing a loss of innocence, and like of a child that's being exposed to things that is affecting her. You know what I mean? So as the story goes on, she carrying a little more with her after everything. And Imani, like I know that the title is a little bit misleading, but when you read the story, you got to be prepared, because this is not like a cocoa melon or something. You know what I mean?
But I like that though, because you see the title, you're thinking, oh, but then right underneath the title, you see everything that's going on in the background. You're like, Sweet Pea, this guy, it's a little weird. So now you open up the pages, you're reading through the first few pages, and you're like, oh, okay, so it's not as bad as what is going on? And it like, when you say it really like turns, it like split second turns.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you mind me like talking about like the actual events that happened in the first book. Do you mind if I do, or do you want to keep it on a hush hush until people?
No, go ahead. It's cool. Yeah.
So, from the beginning, it's like I said, it's smooth. It's just like she's just going about her normal day, waking up in the morning, getting ready for school. Her dad's running late from work, whatever. They have their dialogue back and forth. She hops in a bus, gets out to school. He hops in the car, heading out to work. Traffic jam at work, traffic jam on her way, to school. Mind you, she's on the bus, banter in the bus, blah, blah, blah. Out of nowhere, people just start getting eaten by dragon-like dogs. Everyone's freaking out. Like, it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. Like if you go back in the first couple of pages, there's some kind of like, there's a few drops and hints, I think, like on the radio broadcast.
Yeah, the radio,
telling you some stuff that's like, so it's not like it's just completely out of the blue, but it's out of the blue. It's out of the blue for them because they're not really watching the morning news or concerned with all of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like they just out and caught unaware, like most people would be if something like that happened out, in the middle out of just like the clear blue sky. Like it's not like it came with a warning label as the things was happening. You know what I mean? As the things
even
was
if it did, in modern day, people are like, "Oh, that's fake news."
right? Yeah,
that shit ain't real.
yeah, yeah. You can
like,
see it.
like,
you see it on your newsfeed and be like, "Man, I gotta go to work, bro. I don't know what they got."
And literally, so like the dad, he's sitting in his car. In one panel, he's on the phone with his boss. Hey, I'm gonna be running late. This and that. Here's the radio's going on. He's like, all right, whatever. But in the panel in the background, you see a plane that's like crashing down, like the turbines are burning. He's crashing down. Yeah, he's still on the phone with his boss talking about I'm running late for work.
Yeah,
yeah.
And, I mean that woke him up though once it touched down. yeah. Yeah. So it's that, and then there's some things that happen where after that, now like his gears shift now to I got to get back to my daughter. You know what I mean? Like nothing else really mattered after that point. And her, she's out there, and then they got into something like on the school bus, right? So they get into their thing, and then she's like, I gotta get to my dad, and we gotta get to safety. You know what I mean? So there's something that happens in between there, right? with her and him. You know what happened. Well, you see what happened. I think he picked up on what's going on.
I didn't catch it until later.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene, he's standing there, and there's something else in the scene you don't catch right away. Like I had to scroll back and like, oh, and then it hit me.
Yeah.
And
I'm not gonna lie, there's some subtle visual cues that if you're an attentive reader, you'll pick up on what's going on. But if you wasn't, I ain't gonna make you wait. Like I came into the book with like this manga mindset, right? Like I'm gonna spend 3 issues of doing it this way, and then maybe and then we start to bring in some other stuff, and then by issue 10, and that's why it was good to have a guy like Steve. Like, man, bro, you ain't got, you got to get this story out. And so one thing that happened, I'm thinking like, all right, like I'll do that maybe like by issue like 5. Like he like, when do you want this to happen? Like like maybe like 5-10 issues in. But no, realistically, what page do you want this to happen on in this book? I'm like, damn. But it makes sense. Like, like I will hope that I can go back and like one plan that I have after I get this first arc out, this introductory arc done, is to make an extended cut kind of in a trade copy. You know how they group all the books issues together into one graphic novel. So when I do that, when I do that, I'm going to do the diary. It'll be the Diary of Sweet Pea, and like extended cut, and I'll add a couple more pages to let the story breathe a little bit more. But right now, the goal is to get through this introductory arc, and in order to do that, I gotta make some sacrifices on, like, or we'll be waiting for years. You know what I mean? And it ain't no telling. This isn't a cheap process of to create these things. It ain't like super expensive, but 5 kids, bro. I got I gotta get this thing out. So not to say that I like the quality is getting cut or anything like that. I think we still made like a really compelling story. I think the art is really top notch. Shout out to my line artist Yusuf down. It's a guy from Nigeria actually that does my line work, and he has been tremendous. And Yeah, shout out to Steve for helping me figure it out. He helped me co-write the first one. The second issue I wrote myself. And I got a good editor. I got a good marketing team, and like we made a really good cohesive story. It's just because my plan, my dream for this is to prove the value of the story and become animated one day. Right? Yeah.
Oh, dude, this will go crazy animated, man.
Yeah, I think so
crazy
too.
Animated.
Yeah. So like you got to expand the story for animation. I just want to expand it a little bit more. I like to like just some things that I didn't have room for inside of issue 1. I would expand it a little bit more, maybe show a little bit more home life and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And a little bit more interactions with other people. Not much, it's probably like maybe like 5 or 6 pages tops that I'll add to issue 1. Issue 2, I think issue 1 was 28 pages. Issue 2 was 32 pages. So I did, like I went a little bit further there because we introducing so many more characters. And then
how was your environment built? Like you said, you're from PA, right?
Yeah.
So is it based in PA?
Yeah, the story take place in Philly.
Okay, so if you see certain buildings, you would know where they are.
Yeah. You see buildings, you should know where they at. You should know like even like the posters. Have you seen the Kickstarter campaign yet?
I'm actually looking at it right now.
Yeah, so if you look down at the poster section, the Philly skyline is on one of them, but it's opened up like a monster's mouth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or is it? I just saw that.
Yeah. That's the skyline. So it's that, like you see Overbrook, like Will Smith Overbrook Productions. That's an area in West Philly.
Cool. Yeah, that's fire. And then I'm interested to see how that happens.
Well, I mean, that's just like artistic, whatever they call it.
Expression.
Yeah, it's artistic expresses my artist mind expressing a concept. So it's like the city is swallow you whole. I think I titled it "The Weak Are Meat." The Weak Are Meat is the title I came up for that poster.
So now, with the Kickstarter, so you're going to issue 2 now. Are we going to see issue 2 pick up right off where 1 left off, or is it going to be focused on a different set of characters, and then eventually they're all going to come together, kind of thing?
No, the story is a Imani story, right? So everything that we're following, minus maybe like a few key elements that you might see from other characters' perspective, just for story's sake. But other than that, everything is happening to Imani or happening around Imani, right? She's our main character. So these other guys are introduced because she doesn't exist inside of a bubble, right? And
so this is not just happening her coming in contact with them.
Yeah, it's her coming in contact with them. So like it's cults forming, is gangs and military factions, is 2 different sets of alien species now on the planet. So it's a lot going on in the periphery, but Imani is like the star of the show. And for good reason. As the story goes on, she becomes very important to a lot of other people's stories.
Okay. Now, like you said that like your long-term goal for this is more so you want it to be into an animated thing. In your mind, like how long do you see yourself, like how far away do you see that is?
I don't know, but I'm gonna get there. I'll tell you that much. If I gotta do it myself, man. One of my immediate goals is to get a motion comic done, right? For issue 1. I've been meeting voice actors at different events that I've been going to. One of them, if you go on the Instagram, man, Katero from the voice actor for Killer Bee on Naruto.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's a cool dude, man. I gave him a copy on
What's that you just met him?
Let me see. Voice actor for Killer Bee.
His name is Katero, I think it's Colbert.
Katero Colbert.
I could have swore the last person we interviewed said the day just met him.
Oh yeah, he was at DreamCon.
Yeah, he was at DreamCon. That's where I met him at. So I passed off an issue of the comic book to him, right? And then just as it just so happened, we were both going to another convention over in Gettysburg, PA together, right? So I gave him a copy in Texas. He took it home and read it in LA and brought it to PA with him to do like a little quick video thing for me. So
that's
going
dope.
there, you know, he giving me a shout out for the book and letting me know that he enjoyed it or whatever. But he ain't have to do that, man. And it was really dope that he did. You know what I mean? Like that ain't something that I paid him to do or nothing. I just, you know, like he just looked out. And, you know, I usually get a good response from the book. I got one like lukewarm review so far, but it just makes me feel like I'm on the right track when, you know, like all these different people, you know, is vibing with it. So, but yeah, man, voice actors, I want to do a motion comic, throw it up on YouTube or shop it around wherever. I got the voice actors. I got a guy for sound effects and like a music track, original soundtrack or whatever. If you look at the Kickstarter, the video that's tied to it, I got it's a dope track on there from a Philly artist named Franchise. So he did the music for that, and that came out dope. Yeah.
So you said that you want to address certain issues like violence and how it affects the youth and mental health. So would you say that your work is very inclusive?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't got nothing against nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not excluding anybody, but it's just like what is important to the story will be included in the story. You know what I mean? I don't want to go out on my, you know, like on my way just for everybody. Philly is a mixed bag, so it's not, you know, like my main characters is black. I'm black, but it's, you know, like you see all colors inside of the book. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I said, I don't got nothing against nobody. It's just what fits will be there, and what does not will be in somebody else's story, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, because one thing we struggle with is that same issue, and it's one of those things. Like my thing is, if people like it, they like it. If they don't,
yeah.
I feel like as an artist, as a writer, singer, producer, whatever it is, your art, it's your art. It's an expression of yourself and what you've gone through, the people that you interact with. And it's just, especially lately, we've been seeing a lot of, how do I put this?
Pushing on an agenda?
Yeah, agenda pushing. And I feel like it's been taken away from like the artistic expression, you know.
Right.
So to see,
you gotta check this box.
Yeah, right. It's like at the end of the day, if I live in an area that's predominantly black, if I write a story that's based upon me, the character is going to be predominantly black. Like if somebody, you know, who lives in, you know, an Asian country, predominantly Asian, the character is going to be predominantly Asian. You know, you can't just be like, oh, well, I don't want to read this because it doesn't have black people in it. Why? That's not the area.
Yeah.
You know. So I love the fact that you're keeping true to yourself, keeping true to your audience, keeping true to your environment as well. And I think that's what also makes a compelling story as well, which it pulls people in because they feel that relatability to it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
Myself, I'm a father as well.
I think even though it's I'm a black creator and these are black characters, this isn't like just like a strictly black story. You know what I mean? That only
Yeah,
like I think that I think that fathers are definitely relate to issue one just in general.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
big
Because
time.
that's like the power fantasy of all dads. You know what I mean? To come in
Yeah.
saving your kid. Like we
Like I
daydream
said,
about that
as
stuff.
a father, bro, that's why I was stuck. I was like, oh, when I finally realized what that twist was
Yeah,
to the whole thing, I was like,
yeah,
oh, it definitely hit me as a father,
yeah.
um
I think like
and it
I think
speaks to the love of a father as well,
right. Of a
and
parent.
speaks to the
So.
connection between a father and their daughter, which is something unlike any other.
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, like like if you're a dad, I think you feel it. If you had one in your life, or if you didn't have one in your life, I think that that element of the story should be very, like appealing to people, and that's a universal thing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That kind of love. Everybody wants that kind of love and commitment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a story for everybody. Like Most Def said and on the Black Star album, he said, "I find it's depressing. There's never no in between. We either or kings, we either bees or queens, right? So it's
Hmm.
like that's a lot of pressure, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I either gotta be King Kong in the streets or Mansa Musa or you know what I mean, or whatever the
Yeah.
female equivalent is, or Queen Nefertiti or something. When we a wide range, of we can be just normal people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
even though like the color of the character is not the star of the story. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's like the supporting cast of the story. The star of the story is the actual story that these humans are going through. You know what I mean? That these people are dealing with this 14-year-old kid and her dad and everybody else in the city and all the rest of humanity, really, for real.
Like, and I like that because again, that opens it up for everyone. And I feel
Yeah,
like your story and the personality of the characters again outweighs how they look. Like
yeah,
anybody can take their self and insert themselves into that character's position. Like, oh wow, what the hell? What would I do if some dragon dog aliens popped out of nowhere and I had to go save my kid? Like, or just the idea of being away from your child during a natural disaster is terrifying. It's every parent's worst nightmare, especially in
yeah,
the world that we live in today, where disasters like that, or at least along those lines, are prevalent.
Mm.
yeah,
Let's not forget what tomorrow is.
Oh yeah, you know, like stuff like like tomorrow. It really it rings a lot of bells for a lot of people, and definitely for me. You know what I mean?
hmm,
Um, so I definitely appreciate that first issue, and so the second issue, it's the Sons of Adam. Is
yep,
that the name? Is that what you're calling it?
yep.
Um,
That's like the subtitle of it. It's still the Diary of Sweet Pea. First issue was Purple Haze. Second issue was Sons of Adam, but it's really just issue one and issue two, right?
gotcha. So because right now the Kickstarter is currently going for book two, issue two right now.
Yep.
Actually, I
Issue one
threw
is
the link
available
up
in
in
there
our
too.
chat. It is.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, I threw that up in the chat. Everyone that's watching, click the link, check it out because this book is like I said, read it. It's awesome. It's awesome. And if you're a parent, you're going to feel this as you read. You're going to feel it. So why is book 2, if you don't mind me asking, like called, Sleepy Sons of Adam?
Right. So, like I said, people are reacting to this, right? So, and this I'm not spoiling too much because it's inside of the character descriptions inside of on the Kickstarter here. So, one of those reactions was the formation of like kind of like a doomsday new world order kind of cult thing that are called the Last Sons of Adam, and they formed because people started developing powers, and one of them is this little kid named Jalen. He developed powers, and that caused the rise of this cult called the Last Sons of Adam. And they're interesting a lot. They are kind of like the main driving plot of issue 2, and Imani has to deal with them and navigate through that situation with them.
Now, is this cult kind of like worldwide, or is this a Philly-based kind of thing?
It's a Philly-based. It started out in Philly. It's starting in Philly. There's not a lot of time that's going past. It's only been like a few weeks since issue 1, right?
Oh, yeah. That's another question I want to ask too, like the time frame in between the two.
Yeah, it hasn't been. It's been like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks since issue 1. So you got this cult forming now, but who knows in the future where what that will turn into in the future. And I can tell you right now, the world, we're never going back to everyday life after everything that's happened here, right? You got new races, or if we survive, you know what I mean? They got technology
too.
Yeah, like it's all kinds of stuff happening out there now. So this cult was formed as a reaction to like trying to make sense of what's happening. You know what I mean? Like it's these people, like it's monsters in the street, and there's kids shooting lasers out of their eyes or whatever now. So like, and this guy's glowing on the highway. So like, what? Like they just trying to make sense of it all.
No, I also like to point out that I kind of feel like, at least in book 1, it took a turn of the idea of nobody is safe kind of thing.
Yeah, anybody can get it. Yep.
Yeah, anybody can get it, because what shocked me the most, as we're watching her and her homegirl, they get out the bus, they run in, they hide. Next thing you turn around and look, the bus is just massacred.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, we're talking about a bus full of kids. It's just massacred. So you're thinking, well, at least for me, as I'm reading, I'm thinking, it's her homegirl. They gonna get up out of here. They gonna link up with her pops. They gonna get to safety. No.
Things don't go the way things happen. Things don't go the way you plan them. And I know, like, it's all sensationalized and everything like that. But if like, I don't want to go dark, but some of these stories ain't too far from real life events, man. You know what I mean?
Very
like,
yeah.
Something come through your window in the middle of the afternoon while you're sitting down watching TV. You know what I mean? Anything could happen at any time. And then and that stuff does happen. You know what I mean? I lost friends back in high school. And it's like, you kind of take it, I guess you kind of take it like as a everyday thing, like a normal thing. But these are normal things. You know what I mean? Those have effects on you that we don't really explore enough. And I mean, like in this city right now, Philly is wild. These kids is wild out here right now. So like, why?
We're in New York, so we definitely know how it is up here.
Yeah.
But why? Because it's not like it's not just it's not nature. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely
not just a
nurture at
normal
this
thing,
point.
but I mean, like it's stuff happening. Our worldview is shaped by the world around us. And that's where our values and stuff come from. So I'm just trying to not solve the problem, but
Like shine light
shed
on
light on it. Yeah, like
Mm,
okay,
yeah.
like let's talk about it. This is what happened. It's not a pretty story because it's not meant to be a pretty story. What I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I definitely appreciate that too, because me, like, I'm the kind of reader that, like, I don't want the happiest of endings. You know what I mean? When I'm reading, I like that reality of, like you said, things don't always go as planned. The ending. Not every story has a happily ever after
mm.
Right.
kind of thing. And with this, I kind of feel like when the main character realizes what's going on, there goes that happy ending.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
that's
so that could
you
that
know
could go that way. I'll tell you this much: the second arc of the book, I plan on doing probably. I might try to wrap this up in like 3 arcs, maybe 4. So the first arc is the Diary of Sweet Pea. The second arc is the Savage Sweet Pea. So,
Mhm.
so like it is what it is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can definitely see how this chain of events could, again, that nature versus nurture, you know, could take her into that savage state, especially when she realizes what's really going on, and then what that means to her
yeah.
and
And
what she can do.
Hey
the
man, anger can help you survive.
Hmm.
the other side of that coin is, she has a strong father in her life, right? So whatever situation she in, she still got that foundation of, that voice in the back of her head tell her, right from wrong, and him to be there to tell her, this ain't, what we on, even though we do what we gotta do, don't
Hmm.
mean you gotta be this, or like it's some nice interactions to be had there that I'm going to explore in this next issue and in the future going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like I said, I just want to point out the love, like the expression that you put into this of the love of a father to their child, and then the love of a father to his daughter. That connection is different. It's different. It's just different. And to see you manifested in this story the way you have, it's incredible and it's unique to me. I haven't seen anything like that at all, or at least in a long time. Specifically because, like, and then the way you brought it out too was really, really damn unique. And
Thanks,
that's
man.
why I'm like, all right, I
I can
can
see
I
you.
can
I can
dig
see
it.
you trying not to spill all the beans, man. But
I'm
like,
trying
this is
so
why,
hard.
like, it'd be so hard for me to talk when somebody asks me what my story is about. I be talking in circles because I don't want to give away all the goodies. Yeah, at least not before I got. I think after this next issue out, I'll start speaking a little more openly about it, because you get to learn some of the layers of the onion get peeled back inside of this next issue. So it's a good time to jump in. It's a good time to, like I said, you got issue 1 there for you to pick up. Issue 2 is available as well, and like it's a good time to jump in on the
Asking
story.
about, like, how long it takes to turn out an issue.
I was gonna ask him where can we find his merchandise actually.
Now, do you have like merchandising with this?
Nah, man. I mean, like stickers and posters right now. I want to get into to shirts. Just haven't really jumped on it the way I should yet. I want to have. I'm not sure when I want to make a website. You know what I mean? To move all this stuff on. And I've kind of been juggling back and forth between my art, like at conventions, like on convention tables. I got my books here, but I also got my art on the table also. So I think I'm going to have to start making a call, at least like per appearance, what I'm going to have. I got some dope T-shirt ideas now, like some real dope ideas, not the run of the mill, just the name of the comic book on the front of it. You know,
like from that poster, I believe it.
Yeah, I got some real dope ideas that play on like the themes of it, like it's like metaphors for it, the same way how that poster is that with the city opening up like that. That's it's like the city is threatening her. So like that's just how like my brain operates. So I got some really dope stuff that I think, and if you guys think that I'm ready for it, like I should be having some merchandise, and maybe that's something I'll move up on my to-do list and get started on that. I definitely want to get a website. Right now, I do my sales through person and like inbox and stuff like that. So I think it's time to step up to it and do the merchandise thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm trying to figure out a way to ask. Because again, like I said, I've been trying not to
spoil,
not to give anything away.
No, that's cool, man. Go ahead. You can ask. At least it won't be my fault.
All right, fine. I'll switch to this question then. So, at some point during this, are we going to see like how this invasion started, like a prelude to the first issue?
Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about. I got a dope idea for a one shot of like a kind of like a different genre, like maybe like going to like a New York setting or something like that. It's like I said, there's different the Bane Empire is full of different cast members, right? So you got like an infiltration cast, you got a warrior cast, you got like the priest cast, because like they're trying to revive a guy, so obviously they have some kind of religion, right? And then they have like their royalty and their peasant cast and stuff like that. So the infiltration cast is like the chameleon cast, right? These are the guys that go to a planet before to like kind of like pave the way and create that energy source, right? So the plan, I think, is to show some of these infiltrators and like just the story of them living amongst humanity, and like maybe they're being hunted by the Rizoas or this other organization that you meet in issue 2. You meet humanity's response to the Bane and the invasion also, and they've been operating for a while too. And I know that there is a need to do all of that because, like I said, the story takes place through the lens of Imani. So there's a lot of stuff happening that she doesn't know about. So the audience not going to get to figure out Barry and her story. But I do want to do, maybe like one-shot graphic novels of all this other stuff that's going on around her.
I like that, and we're both writers as well. So as you're talking, and I'm just like, oh, he could do this, and then he could do this, he could throw this in, but wait, no, that would be too much of a gender base. But then, so like we love doing this. We love interviewing other artists and other authors, and because it just inspires us and gets our brains running on our own stuff that we got working on, because this man has just been pumping out material like crazy, and I'm just now finding out. I just now found out about all the material he had sitting on the shelf. So now I'm I'm sitting there like, dude, oh my god, we could do this, we could do this, we do this, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah. I mean, you know how it is, man. We've been growing up. Well, I've been growing up experiencing these stories. I think it's impossible to grow up, you know, loving cartoons and comic books, anime, manga, video games, and all that stuff without having some kind of great idea, story to tell. You know what I mean? And the world, the hood, is full of all these great ideas that, you know, people don't jump on because they think.
Especially if you grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, man. You think that? Well, from my personal experience, like I said earlier, that it's other people that do that. You know what I mean? These people aren't normal people that's out there making comic books and making, you know, video games and making cartoons. But once you get in there and start meeting with these people and like talking to them as peers, you come to find out they was normal people the whole time that eat, sleep, and go to the bathroom just like everybody else. You know what I mean? They might have some training, right? But most of their training, their real training, is from experience, and that come from doing it. And that means they started with, at one point they had no experience, and then they started doing it, and they got better at it, and they got better at it, and they met more people that could help them that knew more than they did, and they kept pushing and got to where they at. So I mean, that long journey away from the topic was all to say that jump on and get started and do it if you want. If you got it, you know, like the only thing holding you back, standing in your way, is you. It's a way to do it. It's definitely a way to do it. And if you can't do it all yourself, then find people that can cover your gaps for you. That's my advice. That's what I did. That's what got me, you know, on the Super Breakdown today. Right?
I have a question regarding the Bane. Do you think of them as sympathetic villains?
Oh no.
Nah, these guys ain't. These guys, man, are like.
But no.
No, hold on. Let me say. It's an entire, you know, civilization out there. They are a race of draconians, dragon people, right? So they cold-blooded lizards or whatever. But everybody's not on the top, you know what I mean? So you got people underneath that's following the orders that they get or whatever. But when you reading it, I don't think that there's going to be any room for sympathy for the ones that we've met so far. Now, who's to say it might be the eyeball story one day that come out that we give a different perspective from, but this is not MCU Thanos we talking about, where, you know, or Killmonger or something, where you got like, you know, like they got the ideology that some people might be able to get behind. These guys are going. They don't see us as, well, I mean, they see us as humans, but they don't see us as an equal species. You know what I mean? They see us more like livestock than anything else. Throw them in the pens. Do what you want. We a food source and a work source to them.
Right.
So now you had brought up earlier that there was the like you said, there was different classes and stuff like that, and you know, spinning off of what you just said about, you know, not everybody necessarily is rocking what they're rocking. You know, is there a possibility that there's somebody in that peasant class that isn't really jocking what their race is doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, like, I think just like when you start getting into just like people in general, now, I'm not really just even talking about just the Bane, just like groups of people. Most people just want to live their lives and you know, like in the most convenient way possible without, you know what I mean, causing too much drama inside of their own life. So with somebody else going through something, right? Like, like I might feel for you, but like how far out am I really willing to risk, my neck for you? Now it might be a Bane, that stand up, but that's those special individuals. You know what I mean? Like I forget the guy's name, but back in slavery or something, I think it was Jim Brown. I don't want to say the wrong name, but there was a white dude that like went to war not with speeches but with guns to free the free slaves. Like went out shooting to try to free slaves, and like that was a special individual. Other people might have felt the same way that he felt, but who really sticking their neck out for him? So like that's how that's how I see the Bane. Like their culture is one of war and conquest and basically pilfering and slave trading and stuff like that. So like I don't got no sympathy for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But is there a good one? Probably.
Not like
Will we see
my whole thing is there's always more to the story. So I'm like, you see the sayings and come to find out they weren't as bad. Or look at the Kryptonians. Like General Zod makes his point.
Right. Yeah. But at the same time, like, what do that matter when the Saiyans is blowing your damn planet up? you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. It takes some digging to find the good in people. It's good in all people, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I truly believe that the majority of people is just like, man, what can I really do about what's going on? And that's what happened. That's what us, man. You see the stuff that you see on social media on a daily basis. If we were superheroes, we would be busy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We would be busy every day. We have a full schedule, man. We got lives that we gotta live. You can't fight every battle. You pick the ones that's important to you and get to them. But other than that, man, I got bills to pay. I got I got stuff that I got to take care of. So like that's how I see the Bane anyway. That like this is the culture that they got, and I think that it would be good to have, like, it'll make a good side story. But
I was just thinking about that too.
Yeah, like it'll make a good side story, like a good one shot or mini series or something like that, where you come across like these ones, and who knows, like let's say like in the future the invasion ends and you got some refugees left over. Now we got a whole another interaction and things to deal with, because now this invading race, you got the leftovers from that. So what do we do with them? Just off of the top of my head, like I haven't gotten that far out into the story yet. I don't want to get too far away from the current story, but you know what I mean? Like there's lots of interesting and very complex things that a question like that opens up. So thanks.
That's what I love too. I love doing these because again, we run across these stories, and then as we're talking, we get to see the writer just like, you get to see their mind just wander, and now they're thinking about, oh, I could do that too, or maybe we could rock this, or maybe we could do that, and that that's something that we really enjoy while we do this as well. Now, for any viewers who are just popping back, just watching, welcome to the Super Breakdown. We're sitting down with Alim Leggett. I said that right?
Alim Leggett, yes.
He's talking about his comic book that he's in the process of growing. The Diary of Sweet Pea. Check it out. We posted the link in the chat there. Click the link. The Kickstarter is up for issue 1 and issue 2. I've had the pleasure of reading issue 1 already. It's phenomenal. So now I wanted to talk more on the logistics side
Just
of things.
before we go, his name was John Brown, the guy that I was thinking
John
about.
Brown.
John Brown.
Yo,
Yeah, that dude
I was
was
sitting there. I was like, it sounds familiar.
yeah, he was a he got up and did the damn thing. No talking necessary, no talking involved. He got up about action. But go ahead. I'm sorry. What was you saying?
No, it's good. It's good, man. So logistically, I let Triage is more the logistics guy, so I'll let him take this side of it. So the usual things that we like to talk about is like the turnout rate, how long it takes, when you send it to this person when you send it to the person to the time you get to a finished product.
You mean we talking about just like a new comic book? Like how long is it? Like if I started on issue 3 today?
Yes.
All right. So it really comes down to the money that I have on hand. I'm the first that I invest in these books first. Like when I go to a Kickstarter, it's not because I have an idea. It's because it's just the way that I like to do things. I have a near finished product, right? And I need help getting over that last hump and helping to grow the brand more and spread awareness and things like that. So with that said, when I'm making a new issue, I'm paying for it with whatever pennies I can scrape out of the couch at the every 2 weeks, or every week or whatever. So I usually, after I can get a script together, I think it took me maybe like 2 or 3 months to write the script for issue 2. It was a little shorter last time when I had help, but it's hard to like imagine of something physical that doesn't exist. What I mean? And describe it into existence. So that took me like maybe like 2 or 3 months. I'm a little more comfortable, so that process might be a little shorter. And then depending on how many pages the book is, my artist usually gets me back about 4 pages every 2 weeks, just because that's my comfort level of paying, and so if everything's moving smoothly and like I keep the money flowing and we're in regular communication, I'm doing about 8 pages a month. And that, let's see, a 32-page book. About 4 months, I can get the artwork done for a book. So now we're looking at maybe like 6 months or something like that before I can get a book, which I know is like, the big shots put out a new issue every month, but they got, way more resources than I got. So once the campaign is finished, that might move a little bit faster.
Yeah, like do that.
Yeah, I might be able to move a little bit faster with having the money on hand to start the next book or whatever. But my artist also is not a full-time artist. He still got to go to his job and everything like that. And I got to make sure that what's being turned into me is of his best quality work, not his. I just work, 2 shifts, a double, and now I'm coming home half sleep scribbling on a page or whatever. He wouldn't turn anything like that to me anyway. So yeah, like the first issue, it took me a year to make. This issue took me about 7 months to get to the point where I could put it on Kickstarter, and it should be done by the time the book should be finished by the time the Kickstarter ends. And hopefully I can get that down a little bit. But realistically, this is where I'm at and what like the best that I'm able to do as far as time goes right now.
Gotcha. Now, when you get those pages back, that's not just line work; that's full line work in full color.
Well, issue 1, I had a guy doing coloring for me. Issue 2, I colored myself. So you see, I think the first 8 pages was colored by the artist, the color artist from issue 1. After that, it's all me. So that was just like getting more into my comfort zone with it or whatever. So got that to look forward to, and believing in myself that, you know, like I can color a comic book. So now, like, I mean, I'm coloring all this other stuff, so why not? Now, so yeah, so that's another thing that helps move things along a little bit faster now that I'm able to get the pages and then color them at my own speed, and I don't have to wait on anybody else to do it for me.
What has been the biggest fruits of your labor from your work?
Come again?
What has been like the biggest fruits of your labor?
Going places and meeting people. This joint got me to DreamCon, man. You know what I mean? I took a picture with my favorite YouTuber. Damn, I've been talking so much that I forgot my guy's name. I'm thinking about Corey X Kenshin. I got a picture with him. That's my kids love him, so they were super jealous. And I got that. Caleb City, that's who it is. That's my guy.
Oh, Caleb, yeah.
I love Caleb City. I got to meet him and take a picture with him. I met Mark and took a picture. I took a picture with Mark. I got, you know, like I said, Carl Jones. That was insane for me because, you know, like I told you, my dream was to get that done. So, like, get animated. So that just felt like a step in that direction to meet him, shake hands with him, and get his card. I actually met another guy that has the first Black Japanese animation studio. Did you watch Star Wars Visions?
Yes.
You know the Pit, that episode? It's a bunch of people inside of like this huge pit, and like they get dropped off in the pit by the Empire, and like it was like a quarry or something like that, and they left them down there, and they was trying to figure out how to get out or whatever. But anyway, he did that episode, so I got to meet him, and I think his name is like D Shijato Studios or something like that, and Carl Jones' studio is Martian Blueberry, and meeting them. Like I told you, I'm trying to do a motion comic, so I know it's a long shot. That's a you know, like a small fish inside of a big pond kind of thing. But why not hit them up? Like, yo, I got a small project. If you guys want to take it on, let me know. So, like, I actually sat and talked with the coordinator for Martian Blueberry about that, and they didn't get back to me. You know, what we set up, we had a Zoom meeting. So, like, just imagine that, like a guy that for a long time had these stories, right? Then I made this comic book. Now I'm having scheduled meetings with animation studios. That's a big step for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big step. And it was really like, I just want to learn, you know, what do I need to put on my dream board and aspire to. I don't care if it's you know, like $500,000 or whatever. Give me something that I need to figure out how I need to make happen so I can make it happen. That's how I feel. Even if I got, you know, like I said, I got time, man. You know, inshallah, God willing, I got time. So, like, even if it take me 5, 6, 10 years to do it, I can only this month. I can only pay for 10 seconds of animation or whatever. You know what I mean? Then whatever. That's 10 more seconds than I had before, and eventually I'll have a trailer. You know what I mean? That I can then take to the public and work that. See if I can build some kind of interest or whatever, and enough interest to get. If I got to do crowdfunding for an animation, then maybe I can do that one day. The guys on Vox Machina.
Yeah.
You see that on you know their story? They were
I know the story, but
they were they did a video blog, right, where they played Dungeons and Dragons. And they had their crew or whatever, and they built their following up from doing that. And then they said, you know, people was asking them to do animate their adventures. So they made a Kickstarter. So, you know, if we make however much money they said, we'll make one episode. They blew past that goal. And then like for a stretch goal, they was like, okay, we'll try to do another one. And then they kept going. Like they got so much money that they was able to make 12 episodes and put it on Amazon Prime off of this.
Are they going into a second season now too?
Yeah, like, come on, man. Why not? Why not us? Why not us? So, I mean, like,
why not us?
Yeah, like let's get it, man. You gotta
T-shirt idea. Definitely a T-shirt idea right there. Why not us?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, why not? Man? So like, let's do it. We gotta, you know, like, or at least try. You know, we fall short, we adjust, and we overcome.
Keep moving. So, yeah.
You still, I need 10 cents off of those shirts. Nah, but yeah, they y'all seriously, man. These is just the dreams that I have, and I'm trying to figure out a way to accomplish those goals. So I'm trying to make the best book that I can, and I think I succeed at that, or at least I didn't leave anything behind with issue 1. I feel the same way about issue 2. I gave it my all, and you know I'm gonna continue to do that for issue 3, 4, and beyond. And hopefully one day you see me pop up on your top 10 in the nation on Netflix or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely I don't know. My brain works weird and works differently. So as I talk to people about the work that they're doing, you know, I can envision what that's gonna look like on the big screen. Yeah. And right off the rip, I can definitely see, you know, Diary Sweet Pea with the little Netflix logo over the top or the Amazon Prime logo on it. I can definitely see it, man. Because again, like I said, the story, even though it's a work, you know, it's a work in sci-fi, it still feels real because of the connections that you have with the characters the connections that they built between themselves, and then just the realism of the fact of how humans would react in a situation like that. You know what I mean? And like a life or death crisis situation, you know, and then how you or another father would react with when their child's in danger, mortal danger. Mm-hmm. You know, so that it's highly, it can resonate with a wide range of people.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I love it. I'm gonna definitely be, you know, putting that out there, telling everyone about it that I possibly can.
Thanks.
Where can people read the first issue? Can they buy like physical copies, or is it just digital?
No, you can right now, like I said, I don't have any storefronts or anything, but the Kickstarter is live. You can get a copy of issue 1 as an add-on, or you know, also included inside of some of the reward tiers, and you can get issue 2 there too. You can also just inbox me and you know, like hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. Yo, I want to check out the thing, and you know, like I got $5. What we doing? You know what I mean? I'm not Walmart or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, so I'm a person like everybody else, and I enjoy having people read the story. So y'all can check that joint out. You know, like inbox me, and we can figure out how, you know, we can get a copy over to you, whether, you know, like physical or digital, whichever way you want to do it. And hopefully soon, next time we speak, I will have some kind of store, or maybe like on Amazon listing or something. You know what I mean?
Definitely, because we're working on a little project right now as well. So we're doing shirts right now. We're trying to get some podcast merch out there right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on right now, trying to figure out how to do the whole kind of like storefront thing right now. That isn't like super complicated. You need a script writer or somebody that knows how to do coding and stuff. But again, on top of that, we have a comic book idea that we're working on, plus about like 5-6 different books that we have in the pipeline as well. Like I said, the 5-6 different books are coming from this one right here.
Brilliant
like,
mind,
right? Like we were like off topic, but we just finished up our interview with Midnight Comics. Shout out to Midnight Comics.
Yeah, shout out to Midnight Comics, Lloyd, man. What's up, man? That's
yeah,
cool,
what's
dude.
up, Lloyd? What's up, Lloyd? But we had just got done with that, and so we were just like, all right, guys, wow, this is crazy. We're doing really good. What are our next steps? This one's like, well, I got about 5 books that are pretty much finished.
Yeah, that's why I need to tie him to a pole, make him tell me how the hell he did that. You know what I mean? He got this dude doing like 5 books in a year. I think he said. I need to figure.
Yeah. He let's see. He even showed us after the fact like the list of what they got coming.
Mm-hmm.
Midnight is coming.
Yeah.
But this dude right here, after everything, we were talking amongst the team, because we have a third member who focuses on the gaming side of things, and I was talking about what our next moves are. This guy, he's like, oh well, I have about like 5 books that are pretty much done already. Where was this in the beginning? We could have been cracking down on that.
Yeah. So that's dope, man. I look forward to seeing if I can help y'all in any way, or like, so
and
y'all
vice versa, definitely.
things that I made. I would love, like, just hit me up, or you can exchange emails or even phone numbers after the show, and y'all hit me up for whatever, whenever.
Absolutely, same here. Anytime, like you said, because we're trying to do t-shirts right now. And like January, we're going to be like officially fully launching our first real piece of merch. That actually going to go up for sale. Right now, we're just doing like giveaways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It ties back to an old episode that we had where this one went off about Batman. Yeah. This is pretty much what it looks like. Hold
on. So hold on. How did that relate to? Is that for Batman, or is the Batman saying that?
No, it's for Batman.
It's for Batman. It's
right. Saying. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, Batman said that a couple times to a few people in dark alleys too. Like, first time you about to catch these hands.
But yeah, then on the back, we just have a long list of characters that if prep time was so paramount to one's success, then these guys should have never lost. Like characters like Vandal Savage, Father from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul,
Bane.
Yeah.
There's like a whole bunch of characters that are just super smart and the most strategic in their area. So it's like they should never lost if, prep time is such a big thing. But yeah, like with the t-shirts thing, you said you already do graphic design for t-shirts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I've designed some shirts for people, and like I said, I got a couple hot ideas with both Sweet Pea and other stuff, so we can get together for that too. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you guys need, man. Anything that I got, you got. So just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we wouldn't mind, when we figure out the storefront idea, and this is something that I've been playing around with in my head. A lot of these connections we're making, again, we're growing right alongside a lot of the people that we're doing work with right now.
Big facts.
So it's like if we're able to get, that storefront up and running and figured out, we'd be more than happy to host everyone else's stuff on there. As a storefront for them to, get their stuff out there and get like those physical copies sold.
Yeah, hell yeah. That'd be dope.
like I said, I have a website. We have a website right now that I'm actually in the works of completely revamping and stuff like that. So once it's revamped, I'm gonna have a section with everybody that we've worked with, links to their information, links to their products, Instagram, Facebook, just contact information for all these people and how people can get a hold of them and get their merch and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Because
Definitely.
that's
Keep me
why we do
posted.
this.
Yeah, keep me posted, man. It sounds good to me.
Absolutely, man. So again, I just can't stress this enough, man. I haven't read like an indie comic in a long time that like resonated with me the way that did. Because again, we all like you said, anybody who has sat down, watches anime, cartoons, reads manga, reads comics, we've all had that fantasy of having superpowers, being a superhero, saving people and stuff. And then as you get older and you become a parent, like now those fantasies twist to like having the power to protect my family, protect my child.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that it definitely sent it home for me. It definitely knocked it out of the park. So
Yeah.
I'm hyped to see book 2 and issue 2. Like I said, the Kickstarter for everyone who's watching, Kickstarter is in the chat box here. Check it out. Support, support, support. It's what we do. We gotta show each other love. We gotta build and grow with each other. You know, um,
If we don't support us, no one else is going to.
For sure. For
exactly.
sure, man.
United, we can move galaxies. If we all work together. And especially this is something I loved about seeing DreamCon, and this is what made me so jealous that I one didn't know about it until after the fact, and I couldn't be there because I'm looking. I'm like, yo, this community of blurs of black nerds, and I saw they had the Skybox Gala that they did. I saw they had a whole basketball game that he did. The Cleo Thomas, he won the MK Mortal Kombat tournament dressed as Powerline.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that was
come
super dope.
on, like this
All
is
kinds of dope
crazy.
stuff, man. I was stuck inside that convention just for any vendors, man. DreamCon from the beginning, literally from the beginning, opening seconds all the way until the end, was constantly packed. So as a vendor or you brand awareness, DreamCon is a place that you definitely want to be. I've been to places that have had 0 foot traffic for like an entire weekend. That was not the case with DreamCon. DreamCon was packed with people, even though they had the volleyball thing going on. But there's so many people that like they only got but so much room for not volleyball, dodgeball tournament. I think they had only so many people that could fit inside of there. So while that was going on, you still had a packed floor. So I say that to say I was stuck at my table the entire weekend. I didn't get to go see anything else. I had to watch it on YouTube after the fact.
Ah,
But it
man.
was a good thing. I was happy to be stuck there because I what I mean. I got to interact with a lot of people. Got to, like get some sales. I'll get the word out about my book and my art, and just like meet some dope people. I met Lloyd down there. I met Midnight Comics down there.
Yeah, I don't remember how. I don't even remember how we ran across Midnight Comics, but like,
It was
oh yeah. So we had went to Saratoga Comic Con up here in New York, and we were going there. We ran into another indie black owned comic company. We were talking to them. We got their information. So I went on Instagram and went to follow them. Shout out to Tulan. I sent y'all a message. Just want to let y'all know. I didn't reach back to me, but uh, Still shout out to Tulane. As I was going through, when I followed them, it popped up. Oh, people you may want to follow. So clicked it,
Yeah.
checking it out, and it just blew my mind what they had rocking.
Yeah.
You know, that is yeah. So after I had messaged them, they were like, "Oh yeah, cool, definitely we're in." We did a small interview with them at first. It was like an hour long, pre-recorded. We posted it on our YouTube. But then when they got the Kickstarter for the Gray and Amani issue ones, they're like, "Yo, we want to do a full length interview live." So here we are, and they're the ones that really started us doing
The
interviews.
Okay.
Because after that, we were actually recently gonna stop doing them for a little bit and just get back to our main content of the breaking down superheroes or just comic book characters, pop culture characters in general. But then within a week, we had 3 other creators contacting us about doing interviews.
Yeah, because we
one
need y'all.
you.
We need y'all, man. We need y'all to help us get the word out for real. I mean, the Flash got his spot. He solidified. He solidified, man. Not I mean, like make your content because like that's always going to be interesting. That's always going to get you views and everything like that. But that's the thing about like indie groups, which after I finish making my point, I'll name all the ones that I can remember, just so they can get a little bit of notoriety from anybody that watches this. But our stuff, like if nobody knows about it, nobody gonna be able to know about it. So when you do find something that's dope, you gotta present it to other people because they need that opportunity. And when you get that opportunity, it's now up to us to create a demand for the stuff that we keep saying we want. Especially specifically talking now to the Black community. Like you want Black original characters, not like somebody doing a drop and fill of the color brown on top of another character. You know what I mean?
Well, you see what DC's been doing.
Yeah.
DC's just been flipping and flopping their characters like crazy.
Only redheads though.
Only redhead. Oh my god.
They say like you gotta support them when they pop up,
or they give them electrical powers.
Yeah, and stop looking for them to come from the big name companies or whatever, because there's indie guys out there that's really doing their thing. It's guys like Midnight Comics. It's guys like Godhood Comics with the antagonists and all of them. It's guys like Concrete Comics.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
They dope. It's guys like man, what's the other one? I know I just had them on there. Midnight Concrete. Wiseacre Comics is another one that that's doing their thing. So and a whole lot more. Armor of the Gods is a dope story. Anything Greg Burham is dope. He got a bunch of independent stuff, even though he does some work with DC right now. The Search for Sadika is his story, and the Tuskegee Heirs is another dope story. So
I've seen that.
You seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check that out. That sounds dope.
Yeah. So like, it's a lot of people out here that if we as a community started moving together on all of these characters, it's a lot of dope stories. We would have all the stories, that we've been asking for, not just the Black Luffy fan art and the and the like the Black Goku AI drawings and stuff that we get right now. Yeah.
No, definitely. Like I'm a strong believer in that too. Like we want as a race, whether Black, white, Asian, whatever race you are, representation is important.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times, you're not gonna get it unless you make that change. You want more Asian representation in comic books and stuff like that, go out, draw your own character, make that character, or support other people that are already doing that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know,
Yeah. Representation matter, and the right representation matter even more.
right.
It been stuff, man. You know, we used to get cast as the villain inside of the movies, man. So I mean, like, you could have left them white like everybody else inside of the movie. You ain't have to, you know, like the one black guy in there was the bad guy, and or you know, like, or you know, like, you well intentioned, not being malicious or anything like that, but you can't tell a story that you're not familiar with. You can't write what you don't know, not convincingly. So we end up the sidekick or the best friend or something like that, or the you know, like some kind of stereotype of who we are, instead of just being normal like everybody, you know, like everybody else, not super sensationalized, just people like everybody else is people, just have our own views. You know what I'm saying? Everybody black is not hood and, you know, like super ebonics and, you know, like that stereotype, or, you know, like any other stereotype. We come in all shapes and sizes and backgrounds and experiences just like everybody else. So when we get a chance to start telling our own stories, you know, they come out better. Which is why I like, you know, like, I enjoy stories from other cultures as well. Like you know, just the first example that comes to mind, because they do so well, is Jujutsu Kaisen, even though, you know, like, it's Japanese anime. But like they do, and Haikyuu does a good job of it too. Like, you get a good idea of their cultural upbringing and experiences. Like, watching JJK, besides the action, you get a feel for what high schoolers are like over there. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with Haikyuu, the volleyball anime. They do a good job, like, just like immersing you inside of their world and their story. So, you know, even though it's super sensationalized, that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I see a lot of other people trying to do. That's why I decided to name those guys, and you know, try to bring some awareness to them. So hopefully somebody look them up when they finish. After they finish looking me up and looking at my Kickstarter, they can look them up. So
yeah, definitely. Like, even for us, again, you know, shout out to you, number one, you know, right off the rip. Shout out to you and what you're doing right now, you know, and what you're going to do in the future. Shout out to Midnight Comics. Shout out to Stranded Comics. Shout out to, geez, the list goes on. Concrete Comics, Primate, you know, Room Full of Blurs. Who, again, they do something along the lines that we do. More so like what's happening today in, you know, black or blurred media and stuff like that. And I love that.
I just was talking to them the other day. Room Full of Blurs.
That's dope. That's dope. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. But they're good people, man. And it's just like, I'm so happy to be finding these channels that everybody, you know, like, has to help push things forward for us.
Oh, speaking of pushing things forward.
Oh, so definitely, I believe next week we're actually going to be talking to another, you know, black author who, not necessarily in the comic book game, but in a regular book game. I hope I'm saying his name right, Jerice Smiley. So he has this book here, which is The Royal Grey Box. But then he also has another book that is superhero based called Torian, which is I had the pleasure of reading as well. Like, remember how you said earlier in the show that you feel like you're a part of something now, part of something bigger now? That's exactly how we feel right now. You know, we have all these people reaching out to us. Hey, check this out. Hey, check this out for me. Hey, can I get an interview? People shouting us out during the live events and stuff like that. And it's it's a little surreal when you get to that point. Artists and creators like you, like seeing us as a platform that can actually do some work and actually help out, because there's a lot of platforms out there that might necessarily be the right, the right form that you need to get your work out there, but creators like you seeing us and deeming us, hey, these guys could help me out, we love that, and it makes us feel like we're doing the right thing. It makes us feel like we're on the right track.
Absolutely.
So with that, I definitely want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for your support. I want to say thank you for, hell, believing in us, to even be here today. Like it definitely means a lot, man. It definitely means a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
If someone told me 5 years ago I'd be speaking to a black entrepreneur, helping him push him build his brand, I wouldn't have believed it.
dude, let alone 2 years ago when I first came up with this idea to do this, I'm thinking, all right, it's just going to be like everything else. I think it's just going to fall through. It's going to work. I'm not going to be able to get the gear and anything like that. But we're on the process of possibly in January having our LLC and being a full blown business now. And we started in what, 21?
Mm-hmm.
We started in 21.
Congratulations, man. And thank you again, man, for doing it. Because like I said, we need these platforms to be able to come on and speak freely and comfortably and reach the audiences that we need to reach. You know what I mean? To get the support that we need to get. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Definitely. Like any time, like you said, we can exchange info after this, man. You can, like, easiest way really to hit us up is through our DM on on our Instagram. It's the easiest way. Anytime you want some help looking into a few things, anything like that, anything, definitely let us know. We'll be more than happy to help.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Maybe we can collab with something at some point in time, and definitely build and grow together, because that's definitely what we got to do. We have I'm learning that we have such an amazing community. Being Black Nerds Blurs I'm just being really introduced to this community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great group of people, man. And like I said before, we come in all shapes and sizes and backgrounds.
Asia the Geek. I like that. Asia the Geek.
My Alec Hardison voice.
Yeah. Before I go, I gotta get going soon. Before I go, just if you're looking for me, you can find me at Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. If you look up Sweet Pea Comic, you can find me at on Alter Ego Arts also on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me there as well. The Kickstarter is Sweet Pea issues 1 and 2. You look those up. You type in Sweet Pea, you probably will find it that way. I know you said you put the link in there too. Put it out verbally. The early bird special might be over, but I still have some very affordable tiers inside of there. And I have some limited stuff inside of there also. So, people are going to want to jump on that as soon as possible. I think we got, from $5. For real, $1 is the lowest tier. If you just want to throw $1 in the pot, you can do that. $5 is the lowest reward tier. And I think besides the retailer tiers, it's like $60 or something like that for my highest tier. I try to give as much as possible to the backers. Get as much value where from posters and stickers and comics in variant cover books at a limited edition. So when I blow up, you got one of these, only 50 ever printed. The Kickstarter cover is an exclusive cover that's only going to be available and printed during the Kickstarter campaign. After I fulfill that campaign, I'm going to switch covers to a different standard cover. I did the same thing last time, so that hopefully in the future, you guys will have something that has some kind of value, because that's comics stopped having the value that they used to have because of mass production. So every campaign, I try to do some kind of limited thing where, even though it's super dope, and now I got to figure out something else to put on the front of it to sell, I try to make some kind of limited something in the hopes that in the future that it'll be worth, 3, 5, 50 times more than what you got it for. So
that's
please
moving forward.
Absolutely.
check out the campaign. I put a lot of heart into it, and I tried to make it as as good as possible for the backers, to try to give them the best deals possible. Thank you.
Absolutely. Listen, everyone watching, ladies and gentlemen, all level 7s. This is also one of the shirts that we made. Level 7.
Level 7s.
Want to explain to them what it is real quick?
So basically, a level 7, as I like to say, is our comic book version of an otaku.
Okay.
So if you know everything pop culture, everything comic etiquette, like if your boys come to you to solve an argument, you're a level 7.
All right, cool. I gotta get one of them shirts, man. You gotta let me know where he's.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, when we're done here, I'll hit you up, get your information. We'll send one out to you.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
You see me throwing that on, man. I got this. This is one of the Hag Entertainment, Hip Hop Anime and Gaming.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that they did. So I got this from them at one of the conventions. They Blurred Bash. They tour around different parts of the country doing Blurred Bash. So that's good. They do concerts there, video game tournaments, vending, stuff like that. So yeah, man.
All right.
Absolutely, man. You guys, thank you again. Thanks for the shirt in advance. I definitely want to rock that.
Absolutely.
You're gonna see me on camera in that, because I can't afford to buy my own clothes with all these damn kids. So I need all the t-shirts I can get.
Listen, all level 7s, check him out. Check out his Instagram. Like I said, the Kickstarter is in the chat box. Boost them. Show your support. We gotta have each other's backs out here. That I'm Power Maximus, Lord Triage, and Alem. You guys, see you guys next time.
Peace. Still alive?